Hey guys, welcome back to ZCodeSystem. Drew here, and today we're going to take a look at March Madness. Yes, March Madness is coming up very, very soon. It's March right now, and we're just a couple weeks away from the basketball games tipping off in the NCAA tournament. Now, this is such a great time of the year. I always love the NCAA basketball tournament. I remember as a kid and a teenager growing up in the US and waking up every Thursday, that first Thursday of the tournament, watching the game, staying home from school, and just enjoying those first 2 days of the tournament. Those are always my favorite time of the NCAA tournament and one of the great parts of spring. Now, we are going to be talking about some of the key features of this year's tournament and some of the key dates as we go forward. Now, of course, last year we did not see an NCAA basketball tournament due to the COVID-19 pandemic. It was around this time last year that the pandemic really hit and things began to be canceled. And so the tournament was also canceled. And now this year we are going to see it return. And I'm sure there are going to be a lot of basketball fans and a lot of bettors out there who are very, very excited about the NCAA tournament. And I know I am ready for this to tip off. So guys, here on ZCodeSystem, we're going to cover a few basic topics or a few basic things here with March Madness 2021 and just chat about that for a few minutes. And then you guys will be a little bit more in the knowledge about what is going on with the tournament and where to put your money, where to bet on teams. Now, of course, the selection for these 64 teams has not occurred yet. That is going to happen this coming Sunday, the Sunday after I talk to you here. Today is March the 10th, so that is what I'm coming to you. Here on the channel here on YouTube. And of course, always go over to the blog to read up a little bit more. I've written the blog to go along with this video there, and there's just a little bit more information that I've put into there, just a little bit of tidbits, but I'm going to try to cover everything, or at least as much as I can, here on the video on our YouTube channel. But of course, as I said, March Madness 2021, returning after a one-year hiatus. 64 teams, as always, will be fighting for the national championship. Love that. Of course, actually, it's really 68 because we have that 4-team play-in, which I'm not a big fan of. But you know what? It gives a few Cinderella hopefuls that chance to make the big dance and to then hopefully, in their, for them to knock off one of the big teams. Okay, so big things going on the NCAA tournament. We've got some key dates, very important dates here that you need to know about so you can get your betting on. And really, the betting can start from Sunday for the most part. You can always put in outright winners bet in right now for the teams that we know are going to be in the NCAA tournament, but you're probably going to want to wait until we get closer to the 14th or after the 14th that night, because that is when Selection Sunday is. Now, once we get past Selection Sunday, we will then go to Thursday, March the 18th. By the way, I should say, all games this season are going to be played in one location. So NCAA going to cut down on the travel that teams have to make, and teams will remain all in the state of Indiana, and they will be playing in and around the Indianapolis area. So that is one key element to keep in mind as we go into the tournament. And it's one thing that could really benefit some of the lower seeds. They don't have to necessarily go away from their home base. They don't have to do so much travel. They're going to all get to stay in one little area and play their basketball. Now, also, one thing to keep in mind, because everything is going to be in one place and we're going to see a cap on the amount of people that are allowed into each arena, this could really benefit the lower seed teams, but at the same time, it could also see the higher seeds really just thrash the lower seed teams. Those 116 games, we could really see the ones run away with those more than we do normally. But again, I digress. We'll talk about that here in a second. Selection Sunday, this Sunday, March 14th. Then we're going to see the first round. We're going to see the first round this time on Thursday, March the 18th. And those games are going to be held there in Indianapolis or the area at the Mackey Arena and the Simon Skjodt Assembly Hall. Then we're going to tip off the first round of the tournament on Friday, March the 19th, and Saturday, March 20th. So this year, I don't recall this happening before, or at least not happening to my knowledge. We usually see a Thursday and Friday being the start dates for the tournament. This year, it looks like we're going to have a Friday and a Saturday start to the tournament for that first round. And as you can see, there are the arenas that are going to be used in and around the Indianapolis area. And I believe, if I remember correctly, Lucas Oil Stadium, the home of the Indianapolis Colts, they're going to actually have 2 basketball courts inside the NFL arena, allowing teams to play games there. I think that's they're not going to be playing at the same time. It's going to be one court for a game, and then the players will. The next game will take place on the next court or the other court, and that's all to do with COVID-19 safety. Now, second round, we're going to see just there on the Sunday, March 21st and Monday, March 22nd. So we're going to see things condensed a little bit differently than we normally do. Then we've got a little break and a break from Monday, March 22nd, but then we resume on March the 27th for the Sweet 16, and how sweet it will be, March 27th and March 28th. And of course, as you can see there, the Elite Eight and the Final Four and the NCAA Championship game will follow there at Lucas Oil Stadium on Monday, April the 5th. So really the dates are very similar to what we always see in the NCAA tournament, that mid-March to first weekend of April. God, it's such a great time of the year, springing, and just having that basketball tournament and all of that fun. It's just so much fun having all of that there. And just really the tweaks that we're seeing are the days rather than we're going to see the days tweaks. So the first round on a Friday and a Saturday rather than a Thursday and a Friday. Nothing really to worry about. Perhaps that is going to not only be good for travel and COVID-19 reasons, but also that might be good for TV reasons, watching the games, and also betting reasons. So anyway, let's move on to our next topic. And so on to our next topic. Where will the tournament be played? As I said before, it's going to be played all in Indiana, in the Indianapolis area. And of course, Indiana is, a lot of times considered the home of basketball. So this is a great place to have it. And we're going to see arenas filled to 25% capacity. Now, of course, because they're going to be using different arenas, we're going to see different sizes of arenas. So that capacity, even though at 25%, we'll see more fans at one game than another. But that 25% capacity also includes players, coaches, staff, and families. So if there are any fans that actually are in attendance, which there might be a few, which there probably will be a few, that means that there's going to be a very limited number of people to watch, any supporters. And I'm assuming that there will be a lack of people wanting to travel from their home state, their hometowns, to the Indianapolis area. So I'm guessing a lot of locals will be on hand to watch these games. But of course, you'll probably be watching online, or you'll be watching on your televisions, or maybe in your favorite sports book, depending on if that is a possibility. But again, like I said, players, coaches, staffs, and families, they'll make up the bulk of that 25% capacity. And then the rest of that will be fans that can make it out to the game. Okay, so perhaps the real reason that you're here. Okay, so perhaps the real reason that you're here, who is the favorite to win the NCAA basketball tournament? And it should be no surprise that sportsbooks are backing Gonzaga to win at odds of plus 250. Now, I got these odds off of Vegas Insider when I wrote the blog, and you can go over actually to the blog and you can get the odds for probably the top 30 to 60 teams. I put them all in there. I've only given you a few of the top odds here, the top teams going into the tournament, into Selection Sunday. So just go over the blog and you can check out everything you need to know there. But again, I got these from Vegas Insider to give you the rundown of the top teams and their top odds. Now, like I said, Gonzaga is favorite at the moment. They are the AP's number one. They have gone through an undefeated season in NCAA basketball. Then we've got Baylor plus 330, Michigan plus 420, Illinois, Houston, and Ohio State rounding out those top teams in odds. And the funny thing is if you've not watched any college basketball this season, or even last year, we could take out last year, you see some of those teams in there, and it's just kind of like, wow, where are the North Carolinas? Where are the Dukes? Where are those teams that we expect to see? The Kansases, Texas, those teams aren't even in there. UCLA. Houston and Ohio State, a bit of a shock to me in there. I know Baylor's been good over the last few years, so it's good to see them in there. Gonzaga. Now, I've got my own thoughts on Gonzaga, and I put that into the blog, so you can check out that at zcodesystem.com/blog and kind of find out my view about Gonzaga. And I've talked about it before here on the YouTube channel, and I've talked about it before in our blogs. There's just something about Gonzaga I don't buy every year going into the NCAA tournament, and we'll talk a little bit more about that in just a second. But every year we see them have a great regular season, and you can debate how strong their schedule is during the regular season, and you always see people backing them at this time of the year. We always see sports books backing them, or at least giving them favorable odds to win. I just never see it. I don't think they're as good as they are made out to be. They're always given favorable odds by the sports books, and they get a lot of backing, yet they've never won an NCAA championship. And interestingly enough, I've uncovered this tidbit. So should you bet on Gonzaga to win outright? Now, I say no, and it's not just because of my bias towards thinking Gonzaga isn't going to win the NCAA tournament. No, there's evidence that you shouldn't bet on Gonzaga or any other team who is ranked number one at the NCAA at the end of the NCAA tournament by the Associated Press. Now, the reason for this is because just one time since 2001, yes, one time has a team ranked number one at the end of the NCAA's regular season won the NCAA tournament. So those teams who go into the tournament number one, they have a massive target on their back. And Gonzaga is going to be that team. They have been before, and they're going to be again this year. One time since 2001, that team, the Arizona Wildcats in 2012, finished the regular season as number one and went on to win the national championship. Now, okay, you might say, well, okay, just one time since 2001. I'm not buying that. I don't care about that. I'm still going to bet on Gonzaga. Well, think about this. Only 4 times since 1985 has the number one seed the number one team at the end of the NCAA regular season won the national championship. Okay, that was the year 1985 that the tournament was expanded to the glorious 64 teams that we have now. So we do have this historical trend to say, right, well, the number one seed or the number one team at the end of the NCAA's regular season doesn't often win the national championship. Now, of course, there will be people out there saying, well, okay, 5 times it's happened though, so maybe this will be the 6th. But you know what? I'm not buying that. I'm not going to go. I'm not going to put my money on that on Gonzaga. Again, I don't often think that they play that strong of a regular season. I like those teams that play in harder divisions, harder leagues, SEC, ACC. So that's where I'm more interested in putting my money in the teams I'm backing. But so betting on that AP number one on Selection Sunday or after Selection Sunday is often a fool's bet. So be wary of that when you make your outright winners bet this year and when you're filling out your bracket, of course. All right, guys, that is going to conclude things for today. A little bit of information on the upcoming NCAA basketball tournament. March Madness is back after a year off. Thank God. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed what you saw. Please smash that thumbs up. Give us a like. Subscribe to the channel. Stay up to date on everything we post here on the YouTube channel. And also go to the blog. Read up on everything there. You can get all those odds for the top teams going into the NCAA tournament, not just the 5 or 6 teams that I gave you here. And, of course, you can stay up to date on everything else that we post there and use those great VIP tools for all your sports betting. So, guys, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time here on the ZCodeSystem YouTube channel. Later.